Brianna Wu went after Jessie over Star Trek. This is not the first time. I honestly don't want to be talking about Brianna Wu. I don't want to hear this pull yourself up by your bootstraps from somebody that's been given everything. I am not covering this to show you the worst of the trans community, but I do think it's important that people understand that no community is a monolith. Every community has its self-haters. Every community has people in the community that undermine the community and that are, you know, trying to play some weird pick-me game that is just like doomed to failure, right? Because you will not be picked. You're trying to appeal to people that want you unalived. You will not be picked. Trad and AI. Oh, is this AI? Okay, this is cursed. It's not just AI. It looks like it looks like it's been fed on like Disney art or something like that. And here's the meme. Yeah, good Christian trans trad wife. That's what they're proposing. And yeah, so I don't want to look at it too much, but let's see if we can tell. Left fash / socialist. What the is left fash? I don't think I've heard the term left fash anywhere else. It's also a fairly young person, so like I don't know, hopefully they grow out of whatever kind of self-hate bullshit that they're into. But look who comes along here who does not have the excuse of being 19 years old. Brianna Wu. Good morning. Trans Twitter is screaming at me for liking this tweet. I know it's a difficult concept, but I thought it was funny and I laughed. I apologize for finding a psycho post amusing. I've heard of a schizo post. I don't know about psycho post, but yeah, no, this is like a Nazi. So I don't know what kind of excuse she's trying to get to. Trans women put down the anime and pick up a Bible challenge impossible. Okay. There does seem to be some kind of a content strategy at work here. Here's what you said after the R's and murdered civilians on October 7th, including slaughtering young women at a music festival. I'd ignore things like you admitting to abusing a cat. Do you realize what she's doing when she says abusing a cat? You're canceling a 7-year-old. You're canceling Jessie Gender for something she did at age 7 and felt bad about and mentioned in a video because she still feels bad about, because that's the kind of person that she is. It still haunts her. And she mentions this in a video. Of course, Keffels weaponizes this immediately. Brianna's bringing it up again. Like, and you know why she's bringing it up? Because she knows that this hurts Jessie. She knows that Jessie still like hurts from this, right? That even though she knows that she was, 7 years old at the time, lacked the clarity of judgment that she does now, that it still fucks with her. Now I could see you just don't see your enemies as human beings. What the fuck? Okay, so anyway, Jessie, right after October 7th, said, "Gonna say what my colleagues have said. It has always been and always will be free Palestine." The reason that people said free Palestine after October 7th is because a lot of us could see what was coming down the pipeline. A lot of us, especially if you lived through the aftermath of 9/11, I remember hearing some awful shit from people. And so because Jessie Gender has a tweet saying free Palestine on October 7th, somehow that's like her condoning all of the worst things that happened and some stuff that didn't happen, because she's talking about, she's like R's and murders. Some of this stuff did not pan out. Some of this stuff turned out to be propaganda. Remember the 40 babies? There weren't 40 babies. They weren't beheaded. Like, yeah, a lot of that shit turned out to be bullshit, but somehow Brianna Wu either has not got the message, wants to pretend like she hasn't got the message, or just doesn't care. I mean, this is worse than bad faith, right? When you're being bad faith with bodies, Brianna Wu, you're a horrible person. You're a fucking monster, and you're the one who doesn't see your enemies as human beings. Jessie Gender, god damn it. Like, there's so much wrong with this. There's so much wrong with this. Jessie is based as usual to bring something she did as a 7-year-old. Yeah, we're canceling, and this was what Keffels was doing as well. Canceling a 7-year-old. Bitch about cancel culture. Bitch about Vosh, being held responsible for shit that he actually did fucking recently as an adult. Bitch about all of that kind of stuff, right? Let's make sure to hold, Jessie Gender like super responsible for something that she did at age 7 as if she was doing it as an adult. But she doesn't mention that because she doesn't want to mention that. That's not the part she wants to. She wants you to think, if you're reading this, that Jessie Gender is like out there hurting cats. Jessie Gender is, like I said, like I know Jessie, and she is one of the kindest, most gentle spirits on all of YouTube. It's so fucked up. And She's bullying her. That's what's going on, and I'm not okay with it. Okay, so Jessie responds. Jessie says, I don't see anywhere in the tweet of me saying Israeli Jews are evil. I said that because I knew, as we have clearly seen, Jessie was right. Jessie was right. She's trying to cancel Jessie for being fucking based, is what she's doing. As we clearly see how violence of October 7th has been used to instigate violence against Palestinians. I regret the insensitivity to Jews, but I don't regret the sentiment. I don't know. I don't think she has anything to apologize for. And you want to bring up the cat stuff? You mean the stuff that Keffels deliberately edited out of context to vilify me? The fact that I was a 7-year-old child who hurt that cat and spoke about it in a video where I spoke about why I don't justify it, hate myself for it, and apologize. Yeah, I hate to see somebody literally being attacked. Literally, like, her human decency is being weaponized against her here. This is why I got no more sympathy for, well, I mean, obviously, Brianna was still a human being. I have sympathy for everybody, but like, it's hard for me to be sympathetic towards Brianna Wu at this point, right? And like, I have sympathy for self-hate, right? For people who experience self-hate, right? We all deal with self-hate. There's a lot of self-hate that's taught to you by society. So I try to be a little bit forgiving. I try to live by Michael Brooks's words of, be harsh on systems and, and generous to people and forgiving to people, right? But like, I don't know. There's like certain lines here. All right. So they ended up having a conversation. Brianna Wu engages her in a Discord conversation and then mischaracterizes said conversation, at which point Jessie releases a small portion of the DMs to push back on the bullshit narrative that Brianna Wu was selling. Okay, so like I said, this is Jessie Gender releasing the DMs after having the conversation with Brianna Wu mischaracterized. Also, this is not the first time that Brianna Wu has bullied Jessie, and it needs to fucking stop. It needs to fucking stop. Like, I am convinced that the reason that she is spending so much inordinate time, like, talking about Jessie is that she knows that she can hurt her. And she likes hurting Jessie. Brianna Wu, I don't have to appease you. I have a different opinion. Trans rights were fine before your brand of politics. Jessie Gender, I'm not asking you to appease me. Brianna, if we lose it all, it will be because of you and people like you. Jessie Gender, and trans rights were not fine. Why do you think we're here in the first place as trans people? Brianna Wu, adults had access to HRT. We're going to lose that, Jessie. Jessie Gender, we were always going to be scapegoated. It's not my fault that that's happening. Brianna Wu, I hope you sleep well. Yes, it is. Jessie Gender, look at the fucking Nazis and Republicans. Brianna Wu, it is 100%. Jessie, seriously? Brianna, yes. So, in response to Jessie leaking the DMs after Brianna mischaracterized the nature and the content of their conversation, Brianna decided that she would leak some DMs too. And chat, the way this works is kind of fucked up. There's a tendency when somebody's leaking DMs or any kind of receipt, honestly, showing any kind of receipt, to make the assumption that just because a receipt is present, that whatever claim they're making is good, right? This is a tactic that's been used against me by a certain notorious self-hating trans streamer. And it's just as vapid from Brianna as it, in fact, if anything, I feel like Brianna kind of owns herself in this next exchange, right? This is the stuff that Brianna leaked to try to be like, oh yeah, well, let me leak the whole conversation and show you what it, like, Jessie Gender took me out of context, so let me show you what it's really about here. Let's go into this. Look, this is what you don't get. I agree with your goal. All of it. What I don't do is sell the radical part. We have to go in stages, just like gay people did with gay marriage. No, actually, gay people got the right to marry when most of America was either on the fence about it or against it. People said that even talking about gay issues was going to hand the election over to Republicans. And yeah, you did have an election where a California initiative against gay marriage, taking people's rights away, trying to annul gay people's marriages, was passed, in the midst of an election. Anyway, what I don't do is sell the radical part. We have to go in stages, just like gay people did with gay marriage. I'm playing a different game because I'm in a different field. If you want to talk about that privately sometime, I would be happy to. I push legislators on this stuff every week. Yeah, like I do not feel good with Brianna Wu being my representative towards right. This is horrible. This is like the worst person I could think of to do that job. Jessie, I get it. Based on everything I know about her, like I got no faith in this woman, right? Jessie, I get it. I've heard the whole we need to be tactical about how we fight for our rights. And frankly, I understand to a degree the need to work within the system as harm reduction, but that's never going to be my view, nor what I advocate for. We have two different goals and intentions. That is, I understand and get. What I can't abide by is transmed stuff and your views on Israel. That, frankly, is where I have the issue. Brianna Wu. But what I need is trans people like you to stop going after me in bad faith. So she's bullying Jessie to shut up about her disagreement, her fundamental disagreement on these issues. Let's read the rest of these, all right? Jessie Gender, I don't think my issues with you are bad faith. I'm sorry about the Twitter dunk for the specific situation. This is the thing, right? Brianna Wu cooks herself. Jessie Gender comments about something that she said that's wrong, and she actually feels bad about the fact that, I don't know, maybe maybe it feels bad to be dunked on Twitter. She's got so much empathy, right? And she's, been shit on by people. She's been, in a very disingenuous way. I think that, the taking of Brianna Wu to task is absolutely fair and necessary, as opposed to the sort of bullshit smears that have been launched against Jessie Gender. Brianna Wu, I don't have to appease you. I have a different opinion. Trans rights were fine before your... Wait, did we already read this? We already did. Okay, so she's trying to put this in... I guess her claim is that she's putting this into context. So we've already read this part. Let's see if there's any more context that Brianna has to offer. Okay, so this is after... I hope you sleep well. I hope you sleep well. Yes, it is. Look at the fucking Nazis and Republicans. Brianna Wu, it 100% is. Jessie, seriously? Brianna, yes. Jessie Gender, that's your view. It's the radical left who causes the problem in Brianna's mind, right? Brianna Wu, your messages, you message this like it's academia. It's a political war. Jessie, yes, that's just, and I'm frankly kind of shocked. You know what? This doesn't have context to it, right? This was supposed to be Brianna Wu adding context, and like she adds a little bit more before and after the conversation, but it definitely does not make me look more sympathetically on her or her argument. If anything, it is the opposite. Yeah, it's not making the context is not making it better, and it's not even shedding like light on like what you want on context is to, like, be able to understand what's being said a little bit better, and it's not doing that. Brianna Wu went after Jessie over Star Trek. Yeah, I think I read that at the outset of the stream, and it was specifically about comparing progressives, not leftists, but progressives. Like Brianna Wu's ratcheting up like who she hates, who is unacceptable, who is too far to the left, and now it's progressives, right? Progressives are like the Borg, the cyborg space army that finds other life forms and assimilates them into its unity, right? They cybernetically implant other beings and like force them to become one with the Borg, and then they go out and try to conquer space. That's what the Borg is, right? It's an assimilationist project, just like transmedicalism, and the cis assimilationist project of Brianna Wu. It's really ironic. Yeah, this next stuff is really rough, okay? I gotta warn you. Trigger warning, content warning, whatever kind of warning you want to attach to here. Because, if you thought that she was being toxic before, if you thought she was being transphobic before, it's going to get worse, all right? So, if this is something that you can't handle, can't deal with right now, I do not blame you for, muting the stream or doing whatever you have to do. Take care of yourself, seriously. I don't want anybody to, be put into like a bad emotional state if they're not able to handle this. But it does get worse here, as Natalie has screen capped. Let me show you this. So this is an exchange between Brianna Wu and a content creator named Big Joel. One in chat if you know Big Joel. Do you know who we're talking about? AKA Little Joel. One of his channels is called Little Joel. The short videos are Little Joel. The longer videos, the video essays, are Big Joel. He's his hair is always messy, but his thoughts are always interesting. So that's Big Joel, and Brianna is discoursing with Big Joel. Okay, so here we go. Sure, this would be some things I suggest for trans people to regain trust with the mass public. So she's saying trans people have an optics problem. Trans people are an optics problem, depending on how you grok what she's saying. Notice she's red in Shinigami Eyes. Shinigami Eyes is kind of like it's a plugin that sort of keeps track of people that are friendly, trans allies versus people that are like hostile to trans people. She is red. And, there are other trans people that are red, but we're talking like Blair White. I don't even know if Kelly Cadigan is red at this point, right? So yeah, she's been marked red, which means there's been enough like hatred towards trans people posted from her account for this to be like to be marked red. Okay, so sure, this would be some things I would suggest for trans people to regain trust of the masses. The mass public, making it easier to pass public policy. 1, stop being hostile to reporters. The way that Emily Bazelon was treated for accurately reporting overwhelmingly friendly to trans community was painful. Okay, she's not really for the fact that she's got a check mark and she's able to just yap on Twitter ad libitum. She is not taking her time to actually and edit the post, right? If she wanted to, she's not taking her time to get the grammar, even to where the syntax is like understandable. Okay, 2, show a more honest interest in science. Stop trying to discredit it when it is shows inconvenient things. Directionally, the science is on our side. We don't have to be afraid of honest inquiry. 3, stop telling parents. Or sorry, I was saying like ABC, right? C, stop telling parents with questions to shut up. I believe there should be a path for minors to transition. I also think the system is not working well. We should always be talking to parents openly, honestly, and treat them with respect. D, stop linking trans healthcare to fringe issues like communism. What is sis yapping about? What is she talking about? I have never heard anyone once link trans healthcare to communism. It's wildly counterproductive. It's not a fringe issue, but also I don't know who the f you're thinking is linking it to trans. I've never heard anybody link communism. Like we should have trans healthcare because communism. I've never fucking heard that, right? And E, stop acting like Gamergate. Brianna Wu, stop pretending to be a victim of Gamergate. How about that? Stop using stolen freaking valor. You are not Anita Sarkeesian. You are not Zoe Quinn. You were not in the bush crash. You jumped into the bush after it crashed and you faked an injury. Quit lying, Brianna. Quit fucking lying. Harassing everyone that disagrees with you. All these things. She is so fucking entitled. I cannot stand this fucking woman, right? All these things would be tremendously helpful in rebuilding trust. So that is a response to Big Joel saying, I'm pouring through tweets right now. I see a lot of appeals to how trans people should be less fringe, more moderate, but not actually finding the issues Brianna wants advocates to be more moderate on. Could anyone, including you, Bri, help? Lol. I feel I need to know. Okay, so this next one is really rough, right? Big Joel, I genuinely appreciate it. I can get behind open and honest communication, of course, and 80%. So I guess he's trying to be a bridge builder. I mean, this is also what people do when they just like don't know that they're talking to a bad faith bigot, such as Brianna, right? And 80% of the list seems to be that. Would you mind telling me, I feel like he's a little too charitable towards Brianna, but whatever. Would you mind telling me when and how Jessie shunned science, was rude to a journalist, and was rude to some parent? And here's what she comes up with, right? So get ready for this. This is the part that I warned you about, all right? My biggest issue with Jessie is linking transgender public policy to fringe left issues. Here is a video where she talks in fairly graphic detail about how much she misses peeing and jaying off. In my view, this is exceptionally poor judgment. for someone representing themselves as she does. It's a video from Jessie Gender, 7 things I miss about having a penis, right? I feel like there's some wild mischaracterization here. She didn't even link the video. Yeah, she doesn't want you to watch the video. She just wants you to take her. Remember what she said about the cat? She doesn't want you to know that this happened when Jessie was 7 years old, even though that's public fucking knowledge, right? She didn't link the clip from the cat thing either. She doesn't want any actual scrutiny. She wants you to take her fucking word for it. She wants you to be scared of Jessie Gender, be scared of being associated with Jessie Gender, and to fucking throw her under the bus. And I've seen that shit happen. That shit's happened to me. Like, not like this, though. I don't think anybody's ever been this toxic to me, but like, yeah, I have had situations where, like, I told you, like, you know, and it's usually like a lot of it was from self-hating trans people. That something about my content just fucking piqued them, just fucking pissed them off. But, you know, it's always this shit of them characterizing it, showing what looks like a receipt. So there's like something there, but like when you drill down on it and look what's actually there, it doesn't support what they're saying. She's fucking lying to you. Literally lying. What a goddamn weasel. Anyway, conversation goes on. Big Joel, I'm sorry, Brianna, but literally what? You rattle down this list of things you wish trans people did more, engage with science, interview more, be nicer. Then your main example of Jessie being problematic is a 5-year-old video where she talks about missing standing up to pee. So he found the video and saw what it was really about. And it's like tongue-in-cheek, too. It's fucking tongue-in-cheek. Trans people should be allowed to joke. Trans people should be allowed to make jokes, right? But not with bad faith actors like Brianna Wu around. You're not allowed to ever fucking joke about anything. You're not allowed to have a fun, clickbaity, jokey video, right? I don't know. Unless you're Keffels. She seemed to be okay with what Keffels clickbait, where she's literally like, I'm detransitioning. No, for real this time. I'm really detransitioning. Like, you know, like just shit like that. Anyway, Brianna Wu, are we being good faith or are we not? Oh my God, you are insufferable. You are fucking insufferable, woman. Holy shit. If you want to have a discussion about this, I would love to. My problem with Jessie is that I think she's not setting trans people up for successful lives. I think she's inculcating them into some fringe ideology, promising a revolution will improve their lives. Look, I mean, I know that Jessie is a leftist, right? I do not hear her talking about revolution very often. I think that she knows, just as I know, that we're a long way away from the kind of class consciousness which would make a wholesale change in our mode of production possible, right? So she's talking about incremental steps. She's talking about stuff that we can do right now. She doesn't spend a lot of time being like, you know, let's fucking have a revolution. She's not Tabby, okay? Not that there's anything wrong with Tabby. We need some Tabbies in our lives and in our movement, chat, to be completely 100 with you, right? The reality is they need a very simple public policy, which she is actively blocking. What the fuck are you talking about? Again, what are you yapping about? I think her behavior is immature, leaking messages. Oh my God. You lied about what she was saying. What is she supposed to do? What is she supposed to do? Is she supposed to just let you fucking lie about your conversation? And I think there's a wider problem that she's not a good human being. No, she is like a million times better of a human being than you could ever conceive of being. That's what she is. She is one of the best human beings on YouTube, right? In addition to being an animal abuser, what she said immediately after October 7th, she erased murder and R of Israelis for her extremist agenda. I don't think anti-Semites should be trying to lead on trans issues. Jessie, in addition, around this time, Jessie was also talking about the need to pay attention and make sure that anti-Semitism doesn't infiltrate, you know, the pro-Palestinian movement. Seems pretty poignant, seems pretty cogent, right? You completely mischaracterize the fuck out of Jessie Gender, and I don't appreciate it. If you have anything more to say, feel free to reach out. I'm happy for discussion, but this is not the right format. Okay, Brianna. Let's read the rest of this. And also thank you, Natalie, and thank you, Zara, for clipping these things for me. Big Joel, I'm sorry. I can talk about this. I'm really trying to engage with you, but I feel we really need to talk for a bit longer about your primary example being the I can't piss like I used to video. Brianna, that's not my primary issue, dude. Then why was it the first thing you fucking mentioned? He asked for examples. You gave him that. Why is that the first example that comes to mind? It was the first example, says Big Joel. It was the thing you sent me. You used it as an example of Jessie turning trans stuff into a fringe issue and harming the movement. This is what you sent to me. Can we agree that it's a silly example if the point is these people are ruining trans advocacy? Brianna Wu, if you're gonna mischaracterize my position, there is no value in interacting with you. I will repeat this to you one more time. My issue with Jessie is that she is radicalizing an audience with fringe left ideology. So here's your problem. Here's your problem. Jessie Gender is a leftist, and Jessie Gender is a trans advocate. That is what Brianna Wu sees as irresponsible. My issue with Jessie is that she is radicalizing an audience with fringe left ideology, or ideology if you're a Slavoj Žižek, that does not set them up for transition success and makes trans... She wants to be the big sister of the trans community that is like, I will set you up for transition. She wants to be a fucking transgender life coach. I don't know what the fuck this is. But like, not in a good way, not in like a helpful way, but in a fucking trans medicalist way. Like, this is disturbing shit. Everything about this woman is disturbing. Anyway, a cringe video 5 years ago is a very minor complaint. The problem is, I mean, this is a very kind of video that pisses off a trans med, honestly. The problem is so she's not a big fan of Jessie's work. Look, I'm not a fan of your work, Brianna Wu. But if you stay in your fucking lane, I can live and let live. Can you make the same promise? I doubt it. I honestly don't want to be talking about Brianna Wu. And the only reason I'm talking about her is that she is literally lying about one of the kindest people on YouTube, somebody I know personally, and somebody that I will not stand to have lied about and mischaracterized. All right. So Big Joel replies, so your issue with Jessie is that she's a leftist, basically. Yeah, basically it. That's it right there in a nutshell. That she has the same perspective as Hassan and is also trans. I don't know. Seems thin to me. Still don't know what the pissing video was about. Why did she send that? Why did she send that as an example? It certainly did not advocate any fringe position, but I feel I understand you. Okay, I mean, she's incredibly magnanimous, maybe too magnanimous. I don't know. Brianna Wu, let me be very granular. Okay, get granular on us. If you are telling a very young trans person that this fringe left idea of a revolution where the gender binary is abolished, that's her problem. What, non-binary people? Because Jessie says non-binary people are valid. She's the problem. That's what we're getting here. Abolished is the solution to... Brianna Wu would roll over non-binary people for optics to be able to present the assimilationist image of the trans community that she thinks will sell, that she thinks will achieve trans rights. That's what she's saying here. Brianna, you're the fucking problem here. I don't think you're setting them up for success. When I try to help young trans people, I spend a lot of time talking about mental health, about to find a career that they can love. I mean, some of this stuff isn't objectionable. Yeah, it's great if you can find a career that you're passionate about. Not everybody gets that, and you got to take care of yourself. But if you can. How to navigate relationships, both platonic and romantic. I don't think, like, as Brianna Wu, the life coach, is going to be able to help trans people in general navigate relationships, just because her experience is so limited to the kind of relationships that she has had, which are not universal, and yet she wants to project that on the rest of the trans community as if it is. I actually don't care what their politics are. You don't? Then what the f is your problem with Jessie? Jessie has never been like, trans people deserve rights because communism, because here's Karl Marx. Karl Marx says trans rights. She never fucking said that. She's never fucking tied the two together. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Being trans makes life more complicated. That's why you need to be really pragmatic. I don't think you should wait for the glorious revolution to make you happy. What the fuck are you getting this? I think your destiny is in your own hands. And I think personal agency is a very... this is so easy to say for somebody that got handed $200,000 by your parents. This is so easy to say for somebody who got bankrolled first by her parents and then by her husband. Somebody who did make a gaming company. I don't think it was a very successful gaming company. I don't think she made any good games. Terrible artist who gets to indulge in this sort of narcissistic vanity project by virtue of the station of life she was born into and then the, person that she ended up marrying. Oh my God, I don't want to hear this. You can pull yourself up by your bootstraps from somebody that's been given everything. I really do need to leave it there. But if you want to talk, I am open anytime. People can have different opinions here in good faith. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Oh no, I broke the stream again. Chat, if you want to help me fix this, you can do so by supporting me over on Patreon.